Hi there. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We got some more cross-examinations to do because I thought we were definitely getting somewhere with the last time, but you know that Barrack or Barack or however you pronounce his name, he's always got something up his sleeve. So yeah, we got to cross-examine these fine folk again.
Hold it!
And hey, at least he's awake now. How can you say that for certain? Oh, very good question, sir. And the answer is this. It has the noble founding principles of the force written on it as a reminder to all us policemen of our sworn duty. He showed us that before, didn't he? Did he? I can't say I remember. To patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. It's what the job's all about. And that is why I can stand here today beside my long-suffering wife and tell you, a Bobby's good for his word. While rubbing my tired eyes, admittedly. Sir! Oh, Rosalie, you're so manly! Of course I am, my darling Patricia. Oh, Pat! Oh, Rosalie! No, none of this is what I meant. I meant, how can you say for certain that this case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrett? Ah, see, sir? You should have said so earlier, sir. Yes, well, so could you answer the question? That was a waste of time then. Absolutely, sir. I will answer to the fullest of my ability, sir. Oh, there's a surprising reason why Mr. and Mrs. Garrett's domestic dispute can't be related to this case. Oh, but before I get into that, sir, just one thing. Yeah? I'd very much like you and all your countrymen to understand the great British institution of Scotland Yard. So I hope you'll take back some tales of us London bobbies and how we uphold our guiding principles. I wasn't planning on going back just yet. I've only just arrived here, you know. Oh, so to that end, sir, I'd be happy to lend you my word card for your perusal. Oh, but I must warn you, you won't be able to get through it without shedding a few tears. Thank you. I'll, cry about... Hey, he's got some evidence.
Hold it!
By which you mean they don't open fully, is that correct? Oh, yes, sir. Oh, they're just there to allow a bit of air through the house, you see? So they're restricted to us how much they open. And therefore, anything thrown out of the window from inside the room would simply strike the pane and fall to the street directly below. For clarity, allow me to mark the map. Here is a location where objects would have fallen. Yes. Direct opposite the scene of the crime. On the opposite side is a rather wide road. Would it have been so hard for somebody to mention this top hidden casement thing before? Yeah, honestly. Well, I have another question for you, Constable. And what would that be, sir? How do you even know? Why would you have any idea what sort of windows Mr. and Mrs. Garrett's house is furnished with? Ah, well, sir, that's very simple. You see, I helped with the investigation yesterday. You helped? In what way? Various members of the public were questioned in order to gather information about the case. Oh, that's right, sir. The sad truth is, we're all overworked. So even though it wasn't under the jurisdiction of my own beat, I obviously wanted to help. I see. Well, thank you. Oh, is it my turn now? Obviously, if anything had been thrown out the window, we would have seen it. But according to my notes here, the sun had gone down already, and it was dark. Oh, but Rolly and I were strolling along, gazing at the night sky and looking for a lucky star. Sorry. The star that will guide us to eternal happiness. Can't it guide you to answer the question? If a flaming book had cut across the sky in front of us, it would have lit up like a shooting star. And if I'd seen a shooting star, I would have made a wish upon it. Let Rolly be an inspector, I would have said. Oh, 3 times at least. Of course, what with the smog and everything, we couldn't actually see any stars. In short, are you trying to say that neither a book nor a knife crossed the sky before you? Oh, yes, sir. That is correct, sir. As sure as the night sky in London is starless, sir. It certainly seems like they're telling the truth. And then we saw the poor woman fall to the ground, so we ran straight over to help her. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. Wasn't he, like, face down in the snow, though? Yes, you said that you went to a nearby police box to fetch another officer. Is that right? That's right, yes. If it had been on Rolly's beat, I would have known exactly where I was going, of course. Don't feel bad, my love. You can't be expected to know the location of every police box on every beat. So Rolly told me the way, only I sort of got a little lost on the way. Oh, Patricia, my darling. That's why I love you. Your terrible sense of direction is bewitching to me. Oh, Pat. Oh, Rolly. Oh, please. Yeah, honestly. So I suppose I was gone for about 15 minutes. Oh, but like I said, my Rolly was at the scene the whole time, making sure nothing was disturbed. I was off duty at the time, of course, but a true Bobby is never really off duty, sir! I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment. Again, I thought you were like face down in the snow or whatever. I seem to remember you saying that. Nothing to report, you say? Oh, that's correct, sir. I had my eyes wide open the entire time. And with our eyes wide open, we walked the plank, you know? Never looked away for a second. No one else approached the scene, and nothing was removed from it. Are you chewing on your, like, strap, by the way? Because I just kind of noticed that. I can swear to that on the odds honor, sir! Really? That seems a little strange. Beg your pardon, sir? Strange, sir? Seems altogether regular to me. This burnt copy of the Lion's Pride was originally in the Garadeb household. So the question remains, how did it find its way into the hand of the victim? Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time? Aha! Could it be a different copy, sir? One that just happened to be burnt as well? Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand? As we can see from this photographic print, she had a bag over her shoulder. Well, sir, that book was in the latest hand from the moment we arrived at the scene. Is that so? There's something about this statement that's not sitting right with me. The two mysteries of how that knife ended up in her back and how that book ended up in her hand. There must be some common thread between them. I'm so sorry, Mr. Naruhodo. I had no right to speak out. What do you mean? I requested a cross-examination of Mrs. Garrideb without consulting you. Even if the judge did deny me. Oh, I see. Well, I agree with you. Yeah, honestly, that was a pretty sensible thing. I mean, the fact it didn't work out for us, I mean, that's not really your fault, you know? We do need testimony from Mrs. Garrideb, if we're ever going to get to the truth of this matter. Do you really think so? Oh yeah, honestly. Well, think about it. No matter how far it is across the road, or how that window opens, Mr. Garrideb's book found its way to the scene of the crime somehow, didn't it? You're right! And then there was Mrs. Garrideb's reaction to me showing her the knife. The woman's hiding something, I'm sure of it. You're right again! We need to use this cross-examination to uncover more clues. We'll get to the bottom of this one way or another. I swear! Yes! Yeah, exactly. Okay, let me go ahead and press this one again, because I'm pretty sure she reacted to something earlier. And I want to get a little more info about that. Okay, yeah, it was here.
Excuse me.
Let's pursue this thread a little bit further. Do you have something to add, Mrs. Beat? Sorry. You look, well, delighted. Is there some particular reason for that? Oh, I was just remembering, that's all. We really were so lucky. Lucky? What do you mean? Oh, well, of course I feel terrible for the poor woman who was attacked. Don't misunderstand me, please. But we're just so lucky it didn't happen on Rolly's beat. It was so close, you see. Oh, I hadn't realized. Oh, yes, that street, Briar Road. That's the boundary between Rolly's beat and the next one. Isn't that right, my love? Constable Beat! Hey, what the? What? Yes, that's right. That's the reason I was helping out with interviewing the occupants of the Garrideb household yesterday. Their house is on my beat, you see, sir. That really was cutting it close then. Constable, I wonder if you could clarify something. If the Garrideb household is on your beat, does that mean that the pavement next to it is as well? Outside Mr. Garrideb's house? Yes, ma'am. The pavement on that side of the road is part of my beat. I see. I was unaware of that. Oh, just think! If the woman had been attacked just on the other side of Briar Road, we would never have been able to go without a meal to celebrate our wedding anniversary. But, oh, that's the life of a bobby after all. Extraordinary people are bobbies, tirelessly working for the benefit of all Londoners. Do you know what I think? I think it was a good Lord's way of rewarding my Rolly for all his hard work. Don't you think so, my darling? Oh, that must be it, Pat, my love. That must be it. I think perhaps we should make sure we had that information officially on record. Leave it to me, Mr. Naruhodo. I'll take care of it immediately. Case file, the information has been updated in the court record. And now it's my turn, I think. Yeah, that. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay, she has something else to say, I see. Can I ask you something? Please, Mr. Lawyer, sir. Oh, yes, of course. What is it? You're doubting us, aren't you? I can tell. What? I wasn't really... I mean, what's she doing? Please? Just because I'm a woman, it doesn't make my testimony any less valuable. Bro, I wasn't gonna say that. Ugh, I'm not misogynistic, jeez. You might just see me as a wife of a policeman, but I'm a woman of my word, I am. I mean, I wasn't assuming. I really don't remember ever suggesting that I doubted you. No excuses. I don't want to hear it. Now your voice will be heard. My lord, you'll let me speak, won't you? Yes, Mrs. Wheat, I will allow you to supplement your testimony, if you so desire. Sometimes the path of least resistance is a sage one. Oh, I guess you're speaking from experience, Jody boy. That was a very loud mutter. I heard that. That Japanese man thinks a policeman's wife's word counts for nothing, does he? Well, watch out, sir. I might let you get away with something like that, but my Rolly won't. Duly noted, Mrs. Beat. Please, I humbly ask you to continue. What could she possibly be about to say, I wonder? Yeah, I'm curious myself. I know what I saw, my eyes never let me down, my sense of direction is a little off sometimes, though.
Hold it!
Okay. Care to elaborate? Mrs. Beat, nobody is questioning what you told us. I saw it, I did. That evening, I saw it clearly. That little Eastern man with the whiskers and the funny curved back, slinking away from the scene. Okay, he's not a cat, you know. Jeez. I feel like you said that before, by the way. And I know what I didn't see as well. I didn't see any flaming books or knives flying to the sky. All very clear. You also mentioned something about having a poor sense of direction? I mean, I can relate to you there, sister. Oh, yes, well, that's a little embarrassing, really. I'm always ending up at the wrong place when I've made arrangements to meet Rolly. He gets ever so cross. I'm sure it's nothing to be ashamed of. Oh, well, we've all made mistakes like that from time to time, I'm sure. I got the wrong church on the day of our wedding, I remember. It caused a terrible kerfuffle. Good lord, that's actually kind of bad. I very nearly got married to someone I've never even met before. Wow. That would most certainly not do, madam. Anyway, continue with your testimony, please, Constable. Yes, sir. Okay, yeah, sorry. Let me, see what our dear our constable friend has to say.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you seem kind of, perturbed. Constable Beat, is there a problem? Oh. Eh? No, sir. No problem, sir. Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind, perhaps? Oh, well, in a way, sir. Yes, sir. I was just remembering that the same thing happened that evening is all. You mean Mrs. Beat lost her way on the night of the incident? Well, you see, I sent her off to find a police box in the next beat over from mine. But she was gone a fair bit longer than what I was expecting. I thought she'd be back inside 10 minutes. Oh, but my darling was gone a good 15. Oh, Rolly, you're such a tease! But the reason I was so long was because of the bouquet, silly. The bouquet? Sorry, what bouquet are you talking about? Oh, it was a present for our wedding anniversary. Rolly's so romantic. He saved up for it with farthings and halfpennies he found in the gutter while doing his rounds. Yes, how romantic. I'd forgotten all about it until just now. Had you, my darling? Yes. But that was just between us. No talking about it to anyone else, darling. You haven't promised. Really? Oh. What was that all about? Constable Beat looked very obviously troubled during that exchange. I'm afraid I can't offer any useful insight, Mr. Naruhodo. But I'm quite sure of one thing. You have to ask Mrs. Beat about the bouquet. Mrs. Beat, this bouquet you just mentioned. I'd like you to add details about it to your testimony, please. Oh, really? Yes, I'd love to. Grumble, grumble. What happened was I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while.
Hold it!
Man, there's a lot of fucking layers to this testimony. It's like onions and ogres, you know? You mean you dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime? Yes, that's right. Oh, I was so upset. When we ran over and saw it was a woman with a knife in her back, I was so shocked, I dropped the bouquet Rolly gave me. It was in a dark spot where the streetlights weren't casting any light, so I didn't notice at first. And then he went to the police box to report it to the policeman whose beat it was on. Yes, and I came back to the scene together with the other constable, you see? That's when I spotted my bouquet again. But the funny thing was, when I went to pick it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all. In case you need reminding, Mrs. Beat, the victim is not deceased. I was all flustered for a moment before I heard a voice calling me from the other side of the road. Your husband, presumably. That's right. Silly me. I got over to the wrong side of the street. Although, I'm going to blame the bouquet this time. I can't think how it got there. I really can't. So the bouquet somehow moved from one side of the Briar Road to the opposite. That's curious. Yeah. Curious indeed. Isn't it? But the worst of it is, I forgot to pick up the bouquet up again when we left the scene. That beautiful rose Rolly bought me, with that change from the gutter he spent so long collecting. By bouquet, do you perhaps mean this solitary rose? Oh, yes, that's it. That's the bouquet Rolly bought me for our anniversary, with old bits of change he found in the gutter. Maybe just call it a rose? But Parasaur Translikes, where did you come by the flower? According to the report by the police officer in charge of the crime scene investigation, it was found on the edge of the pavement in front of the Gyaradev household. In front of the Gyaradev house? Although it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. It was believed to be of no relevance to the case, since it was found on the opposite side of the thoroughfare. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Could I have it back now, please? No, I think for good measure, which hang on, I'm getting my voices crossed up, my bad. I think for good measure, this rose ought to be added to the court record as evidence. Oh. Huh. But it's a symbol of our love. I want it back after the trial. Do you hear me? I want it back. Good grief. Rest assured that I will do my very best not to forget, Mrs. Wheat. I didn't... Okay, I need to look at things a little bit closer. Look at these. Prickles on policing. A policeman will strive to preserve the peace within his allotted beat. Item 2. A patrolling officer is expected to walk 20 miles around his beat every day for the furtherance of community relations. Metropolitan Police regulations. Any crime falls under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they are discovered. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Alright. Now let's look at this again. No, I wouldn't really call this a bouquet. It's more like a large rose wrapped up in newspaper. That's a bit iffy. It's very stylish paper the flower's wrapped in, isn't it? It's just an old newspaper, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, I suppose it's because I'm not used to seeing English print. It looks so exotic to me. Ah, I see. Is something wrong? Oh, no. I was just thinking that if you wrapped a stone-baked sweet potato in English newspaper, it might look like some sort of fancy cake. Ah, Suzato-san, you do love your cakes. Ah, an English rose. It's such a beautiful flower. Ah, this is a rose, is it? I've never seen one before. Do you not take an interest in flowers, Mr. Naruhodo? I wouldn't say that exactly, but I do know 3 types at least. Gosh, 3? Yes, plum blossom, peach blossom, and cherry blossom. Perhaps, you should consider branching out. Learning some that aren't, fruit tree based, for example? Hey, that's more than, Phoenix knows. He only knows 2 types of flowers. Okay, I have an idea of what the issue is, but I'm not sure where to present it. Huh. I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while. Okay, so so what I gather is you came upon when you came upon the victim, you dropped the rose. So shouldn't that be like here somewhere? Like shouldn't it? Well, because like I don't see any roses in the photo where the body is. But then again, they did say that like it fell in a place that was not where the street lights were at. Where the light from the street followed. So maybe that's it. Plus, his reaction was kind of strange. I'm gonna try and present here, maybe? Because...
Objection!
Well, let's see. Oh. Okay, I guess that wasn't it. Let's just consider... Okay, we've already... Okay, it's a penalty dialogue. We know how it goes. What implications, Counsel? Nothing strikes me about it. Exactly. There's nothing striking about it. What does strike me is your propensity for the inane, however. Okay, yeah, I guess so. My bad. Because she was saying she dropped the rose at one point, then she left, and when she came back, the rose was moved. So... I didn't take my eye off the chronometry for one moment. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir. Again, I think it's the rose, the bouquet, the rose.
Objection!
Okay, hey, the music stopped, so that's, good. You claim, Constable Beat, that there was nothing to report in the 15 or so minutes you were guarding the scene. But that cannot be! What? What do you mean to say? In your testimony just now, Mrs. Beat, you explained to the court that when you arrived back at the scene of the crime when the policeman assigned to that beat, the bouquet you had dropped on the victim's side was no longer anywhere nearby.
Objection!
Yes, on the opposite side of Briar Road, to where the victim was attacked. But considering the size of that meager bouquet, if a single sorry bloom can be so described, no doubt it was blown in the wind across the street, back into the gutter where it belongs. Meager? But if that were the case, why did Constable Beat not testify to the fact? No one else approached the scene, and nothing was removed from it. Constable Beat swore to that on Scotland Yard's honor. But the bouquet belonged to me. It has nothing to do with the case. That's right, Rolly didn't mention it, I'm sure. No, because, sadly, it's not only your bouquet we're talking about here. More than one thing in this case is mysteriously the wrong way round. What are you talking about? Think about it. Besides Mrs. Beat's bouquet, there's Mr. Garadev's book. Mr. Garadev's copy of The Lion's Pride, which was thrown out of the window by his wife, would have struck the pane of the casement window and landed here, on the west side of the street. And yet, it was actually found here, on the opposite side of the road, in the victim's hands. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard, Mrs. Beat's bouquet should have been dropped here at the scene of the crime on the east side of the street. But in fact, it was on the other side. It was actually found here, on the opposite side of the road, in front of Mr. and Mrs. Garadev's house. There's no logical explanation for those things, unless someone deliberately moved them. Oh no. Oh hey, I just realized, I didn't notice but until before, their scarves are actually the same scarf, like they're both wearing the same scarf and it's like connected. That's interesting. What are you trying to say? The way you're talking, it sounds like you think my Rolly's done something wrong. Don't you listen to a word that scrawny lawyer says. Whittering on about books and bouquets. Why should we care? It's nitpicking, that's what it is. Oh, good. Mrs. Garadev's come around. You might call it nitpicking, Mrs. Garadev, but deliberately meddling with the scene of the crime is a criminal offense. It's called, tampering, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh. But the person responsible for this tampering cannot admit to it, for a very subtle but compelling reason. Tampering? You barely heard the term before. Tell us, my learned friend, who would possibly have cause to carry out such an elaborate deception? Yes, there is someone who tampered with the scene of the crime that evening. All the evidence and all the testimony points to that one particular person. Counsel, I must demand that you substantiate the conjecture. Who are you saying is responsible for tampering with the scene of the crime? I mean, I guess it has to be this guy, right? I mean, he was all because if he left the scene of the crime, you know, that would give him a time period to tamper, right?
Take that!
And like, who else could it be? Obviously, there's only one person it could have been. Constable Rolly Beat. It was you. What? A policeman? A member of Scotland Yard? What nonsense! Why would my Rolly do something like that? There's no one straighter than my husband. No Bobby works more tirelessly for the people of London. Mrs. Beat, you said in your testimony that your husband asked you to go to a nearby police box to fetch the officer on duty. The 15 minutes that you were absent from the scene is the only opportunity that anyone had to tamper with it. Yeah, exactly. You're making it up. It's all nonsense. It's all lies. What about that Japanese man with the whiskers? I bet it was him. He did it. If that was true, Constable Beat would have seen him do it. Oh! And forgive me for pointing it out, but when you dropped your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, it was after the defendant had fled the scene. Well...
Objection!
First you make accusations about the landlord and his wife, and now you incriminate the policeman as well. But your accusations lack one very important thing. You claim the crime scene was tampered with. Well, there is only one reason anyone would commit such a reckless crime. To hide something.
That's right. He's right. But my husband and I just happened to be there, that's all. So why would we have anything to hide? It doesn't make sense.
You've offered no motive for this alleged tampering. And until you do, your accusations are nothing but empty threats.
Constable Beat had a very good reason for wanting to tamper with the scene of the crime. That's the key to this entire affair. Mr. Naruhodo, have you managed to solve this mystery?
Counsel, we have made a very serious accusation against a London police officer. If you are mistaken, I'm sure I need not point out that your reputation as a lawyer will be irreparably damaged. With that stark warning in mind, we will now explain to the court the motive for this alleged tampering.
Yes, my lord. Slap your fucking face. Oh, I guess he's not gonna do it. Constable Beat's motive for tampering with the crime scene was to hide... I don't know. Maybe it's where the bouquet fell? Maybe? Where the bouquet fell to the ground. That's what he had to cover up at all costs.
And why exactly?
Oh, well, of course. The reason is,
Do you have something to hide, my learned friend? Or it seems you're unwilling to share the reason with the court. Or could it be, perhaps, that no reason exists?
Gah! He didn't even try to hide his displeasure. Counsel... Okay, yeah. Okay, maybe it's where... Okay, I guess it's where the victim fell, because I guess the book and the bouquet are, like, accounted for, but we don't know about the victim. Where the victim fell to the ground. That is what this Bobby had to cover up at all costs.
What?
Where the victim fell? You mean where she was attacked? What are you talking about? We told you at the very start, didn't we? On the pavement of Briar Road. We saw it happen, remember? It was right here, as if anyone didn't already know. That's certainly what everyone has been led to believe. But in fact, that isn't where the victim was stabbed at all. What? What? So you mean to say she was on the other side of the road, actually?
But I'm beginning to wonder whether this tumultuous trial will end, Counsel. If that's your assertion, then the court is dying to know, my Nipponese friend. Where are you proposing that the crime actually took place that evening?
Oh, well, I mean, obviously, if it's not here, then it has to be here. Like, I doubt it happened in the middle of the road. And, like, these places wouldn't make any sense. So, I guess, yeah, about hereabouts, I would say.
But that's on the opposite side of the road.
I don't understand. On the evening in question, Mr. Garrodet's book fell directly down from the open window above. And your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, never moved at all. What did move was the scene of the crime itself.
Good gracious.
Objection!
Perhaps you haven't been listening to the ample testimony the court has heard. But these witnesses both saw the moment that the attack took place.
That's right! I saw it! With my own eyes! It was 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark. There was a typical London fog on the ground. When you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's aid, that was actually on the west side of Briar Road. No! That's not true! It can't have been! Constable Beat then arranged for you to be absent for a while by sending you for help. And during the 15 minutes you were away, he transplanted the crime scene. He moved all the things shown in this print, the victim herself, the 4 books. He moved everything, in fact, to the pavement on the east side of Briar Road. Extraordinary. But the constable overlooked one thing. What? What did he overlook?
The bouquet, I presume.
Exactly. The prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago about the discovery of the rose bouquet. Lord Van Zyke said it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light.
Yes, it couldn't have been seen in the dark, obviously.
Which is why it was only the bouquet that was found in its original position on the pavement on the west side of Briar Road. And that is the defense's theory about what really happened that evening. How do you respond, Constable Rolly Beat? I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to nod off again, but I haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything important? Oh, Rolly, it isn't true, is it? What that lawyer said is all lies, isn't it? I know it is, because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know. I had a dream. A terrible dream. All the things I did that night. Everything come out. Everything exposes. Only, it seems it wasn't a dream at all. Good golly!
Order! 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 What on earth is the meaning of all this?
Oh, Rolly, why? Why would you do something like this? Moving a corpse is a criminal offense, isn't it? Wishing the victim dead should be one, too.
Constable, explain yourself. Why would you do this? As a respected member of Scotland Yard, your duty is to protect the good people of London Town.
I can't say, sir.
What?
I really am ever so sorry about all this. For damaging the Yard's reputation. For everything. Jesus, dude. What was your reasoning? Well, why would you do such a thing? I have a possible explanation. For why, on that particular evening, Constable Beat felt compelled to move the scene of the crime. I can think of one reason.
What? How could you possibly know? You, a foreigner, presuming to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman. And yes, Lord Redlikes, it is this foreigner who has uncovered the startling truth of the matter thus far. I believe it will be beneficial to the court to hear this extraordinary young lawyer's theory. Counsel for the defense, if you please.
Yes, my lord.
Now then, I think you had better show us some evidence.
At once, my lord. England, Japan. It makes no difference where you come from. Human emotions are the same. And I think I have a fairly good idea of the feelings behind this man's actions. What gives away the motive for Constable Beat's unthinkable actions? You know, I think it's actually... I think I have an idea. If you look at this, right? When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. That's right? So I think the reason he wanted to move the body and all that was because he didn't want to mess with their anniversary plans. Because, you know, he already said that his beat would have been on the east side of the road, right? So, yeah, he moved the pavement, or he moved the stuff so that their evening together wouldn't have been ruined.
Take that!
Because it was their anniversary and all. which is, you know, nice in its own way, but still. I realize that I'm a foreigner in this land, and I've only just arrived from Japan, which is why all this information about London's so-called bobbies is completely new to me. I've learnt that, though honorable, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world, for example. Keeping the peace, looking after the citizens on this beat, in all kinds of ways. And there's no doubt that the young Bobby is charged with a great deal to do each day, certainly. But for Constable Beat, the day in question was special. Special? How? On account of this bouquet, my lord. Oh, yes! It was our very first wedding anniversary. Constable Beat had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife, and was so looking forward to taking her out for a celebratory meal, when he and Mrs. Beat stumbled upon a crime along Briar Road. When he saw that shadowy figure through the fog collapse on the pavement ahead of them, what must have gone to the man's mind? But sir, just on that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. Beat puts up a lot with being married to a bobby like me. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care. This is a warrant card that Constable Beat offered to lend to me earlier. Inside, among the rules for patrolling policemen, it says, when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Aha! Constable Beat. Is that, or is that not, the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day? Yes. Everything you said, it's all right. So that's it. It was all to do with the boundary of your beat. Oh! Exactly. To summarize, the incident actually occurred on Constable Beat. Good gracious! Constable, do you realize the gravity of what you have done? It was the first time since I became a copper that I'd ever cursed God. Stay close to me, Pat. The criminal could still be lurking somewhere. As I ran over to the scene, I had every intention of doing my duty as a police officer. We've got to report this to the station as quickly as possible. Oh, but then it dawned on me. I realized where we were, where the victim was lying, and what that meant for me. Oh, when a crime is discovered on his beat, our policemen must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Why here? Why did this have to happen here? And why tonight of all nights? Why? It's a copper's job to guard the scene of the crime, so I told Pat she'd have to go to the nearest police box and fetch whoever was on duty there. It was then, when I opened my mouth to speak, it came out. I couldn't believe the words that would come out of my own mouth. This is the next beat to mine, Pat. So you'll have to go to the police box that covers it. Turn right along Mearsham Street, and then... Oh, don't be so sad, says Otto. Aw, hey, you don't gotta cry, pal. Oh, come on, man. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, Constable. I just wanted, just that one night, to take my Patricia out for dinner. Oh, Rolly. Just that one night.
You knew that if the incident was on your beat, your evening of celebration would be ruined. And so you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction. Just across the street, to the east pavement of Briar Road, which falls under the neighboring beat's care.
You see, I thought... Well, I was sure the victim was dead, you see.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, of course he did. Otherwise, my roller would never have left the poor woman on the freezing cold pavement.
Ah, I see your meaning now.
I'm not sure if I see his meaning, though. Also, that's all very romantic and stuff, but if Patricia saw it as well, wouldn't she have been like, hey, why'd the body move if she initially saw it on the one side of the road? Because, like, it seems like she didn't really, like, understand or like, know that he had tampered with the scene, right? But they both saw what happened, right? Like, was she just not that observant? Not sure about that one, Chief. Anyway. Oh, but God got me back from my sins, didn't he? That's why I missed the rose I bought for Pat. Oh, no, Rolly, that was all my fault. I should never have dropped in such a dark place. I'm so sorry, Rolly. And can you tell us, Constable, how many books did you move from the one side of the road to the other in total? 4 it was. Yes, sir. Definitely 4. 3 of them dropped by Nutsunatsume, and the 4th being the one that fell from the window upstairs in the Garadeb household, of course. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? When all the others were scattered haphazardly around, I mean. Oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it.
How you found it? What do you mean?
When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand. You're sure it was this book, The Lion's Pride, that the victim was holding? Oh, yes, sir. No doubt about it, sir. Interesting. I thought it was an open and shut case at the time, you see. There were only the 2 people at the scene, and Pat and me both saw it happen. However which way you looked at it, it had to be the fellow who ran off who done it, I thought. I couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving it all over the road would make a jot of difference. I suppose this is it for me now. I've had it.
My lord. But yes, Lord Van Zykes. I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses.
Eh?
Constable, you may withdraw.
Yes, sir. Mr. Prosecutor, sir, what will become of my Rolly? What will happen to him?
For now, you are free to go home. The police will contact you in due course.
Please, don't punish my husband. This was all my fault. It's because I'm always moaning at him for coming home late. Leave it now, Pat. Let's go home. I'm tired. All right then, my love.
One last thing, Constable.
Sir?
Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you.
Yes, sir.
Carve that lesson in your mind. And never again make the mistake of tampering with the scene of a crime.
Never again, sir. You mean to say?
Leave. Now. This trial's not yet over.
What do you mean? Yeah, what's that supposed to mean? Again? Sir! Well, quite startling revelation, I must say. Who would have thought it was their party transferring the entire scene to a crime like that?
Indeed, my lord. Nonetheless, there are some immutable facts here. Principally, that the accused, Mr. Suzuki Natsume, is the only person who could have possibly committed this crime.
No, I disagree. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there is someone else. Another person who could be responsible for the knife in the victim's back. Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution is probably well aware of this possibility already. Lord Van Dykes, is this true?
Very well. Name the person if you will, and if further investigation is warranted. The prosecution has no objection to the trial continuing.
You will name this other person who could have perpetrated the crime. Well, I think we all know who it is, considering what we now know. But I think it's gonna have to wait till the next episode. You know, this one's getting to be pretty long, so yeah, you know how it is. Man, poor Pat and Rowley. I mean, you shouldn't move a crime scene around, but still, you know, he was doing it for a decent enough reason. Though I'm not sure what he meant that he wouldn't have done it if he didn't think she was already dead. I mean, I guess yeah, leaving someone out in the cold like he did was not nice, but I mean, they still would have reported it regardless of whether or not she was dead or not. So, well, I don't know. That's an unnecessary thought. But yeah, next time we will, I guess, go in a little bit harder on old Mrs. Garadeb. But yeah, until then,